The NFL draft is just a few days away, and the anticipation and excitement for it gave me the idea to go on here and record a mock draft. So let's just get started. So the Bears on the clock at one. They've been on the clock for a while now. Traded for this pick from Carolina in the Bryce Young trade, and then obviously Justin Fields' era is done in Chicago. So it's going to be a quarterback, and it's going to be Caleb Williams. He's the best quarterback in the country. He has been for a few years now. Uh, he's just a tremendous player. He's a very special player. Much like Bryce Young, he's very good outside of the pocket. He makes really special plays when the plays are broken. And I think even better than Bryce Young. He has just a sick arm. I mean, he gets out of the pocket, he gets his feet set, and he just makes monster throws. He's just a playmaker. I'd say the only knock on him for me is that he's not a really prototypical passer. He's not your ideal stay in the pocket uh, type quarterback like a lot of NFL teams like. And I think when young players are like that, they tend to make a lot of mistakes. They turn the ball over a lot. So I think maybe right out of the gate, Caleb Williams will have to get used to the pace of the NFL. So he might turn the ball over a little bit at the start, but he's going to be a special player. And I love Justin Fields, but I think the Bears made the right move getting their new franchise guy. So Commanders at two. I think this is also a quarterback. And it's really between Drake May and Jaden Daniels. For me, it's Drake May. Uh, much on the opposite side of Caleb Williams, Drake May is your prototypical sit in the pocket NFL passer. He's going to make all the throws because he can. He's got a really big arm. He's very smart. Played at North Carolina, so not the best competition, but still really good competition. And he's just going to be, I think, the most NFL ready quarterback out of this draft. I think he'll plug and play almost right away. I don't think he'll sit for very long. I think that he's going to come in and look decent to start. I don't think he's going to do anything insane, but I think he's NFL ready. He's ready to go. And I think it's a really solid pick for Washington. I think Washington is in a little bit of a spot where they're not going to be great, but I don't think they're going to be so bad. And I think Drake May, being NFL ready, could really help them get to the point where they could be a playoff team pretty soon. So I would love that pick for Washington. Onto the Patriots at three. Another quarterback. A lot of quarterbacks in this draft, and a lot of quarterback needy teams in the NFL right now. So it's crazy, but quarterbacks get drafted high, and the NFL is short on quarterbacks right now. So they're going to get taken high in this draft, and it's Jaden Daniels for me. Jaden Daniels, I mean, he's a playmaker. Obviously, with his legs, he's the best quarterback in the country outside of the pocket with his legs, but he's also a really good passer, and I think people forget that he's really good at throwing the football. He is a quarterback, of course, but a lot of people think he's Lamar Jackson. I don't really think he's Lamar Jackson. I don't think he could run like Lamar Jackson, even though he's a great runner. But he could really sling the football, and he's very experienced. I mean, he was there at Arizona State, transferred to LSU. He played with, obviously, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., some really good receivers. He's been around the block. I think he was a senior, maybe even a redshirt senior. He's been around for a while, so he's super experienced. I think he's going to go into the NFL and pick it up pretty quickly. I just don't know if he is a future Pro Bowler type guy. I don't know if he's going to come in and be a franchise quarterback. I think he can. I think he's a wonderful player. I just think not so much as Caleb Williams and Drake May, but I think he still warrants a top 5 pick, and I think the Patriots would be stoked to get a player like Jaden Daniels at 3, especially how special he is on the ground. I mean, he's really great when he gets out of the side of the pocket. Cardinals at 4. Arizona's in a little bit of a weird spot. You think maybe just stick and pick, take Marvin Harrison Jr. here. You really can't go wrong with Marv. But I think Arizona is going to be bad again next year, and I think that they should go get capital for years to come. And the Minnesota Vikings need a quarterback. They need one so desperately. Kirk Cousins era is over. So I have Minnesota trading up here. They went and traded for that Houston Texans pick, which came from the Browns. I think that was really just to trade up in this spot. I don't really know what the trade would be, but I think it would involve 11 and 23 and then probably a future first. And maybe even a little bit more. But we're going to go ahead and have Minnesota trade up here. And as much as it pains me as an Ohio State fan, they will be taking J.J. McCarthy here. I think, personally, this is a reach for J.J. McCarthy. But I also think it could be a great pick. I think J.J. McCarthy is so talented. You don't, realize that he can make all of the throws. Because at Michigan, they were so run-heavy. All they did was run the ball. It was just so run-centric that we never really got to see what he was capable of. But trust me, he's capable of a lot. He's really deadly on the ground, and he can really sling the football. I just don't know if he has enough experience. Obviously, great coach in Jim Harbaugh, but I just don't know if he is going to make that NFL jump very quickly. I think it's going to take J.J. McCarthy some time, but he's a very talented and athletic guy. He's going to be a good player. I just don't know how good of a player he's going to be. All right, so the Chargers at 5. Now, again, Marvin Harrison is on the board, and the Chargers need everything on offense except for quarterback, because they brought Jim Harbaugh in and basically blew up that whole offense because it wasn't working. Now, that makes it so clear that you should just take Marvin here, but I think they're another team that's going to trade back. I just think that they need more time to build that core, and I don't think they're really focused on this year, and I think that they're going to want to trade back, especially with some teams seeing that Marv's on the board at 5. They're going to want to trade up, and I think they can get a pretty good return from Marv. So I'm going to have the New York Jets trade up here. Again, don't know what it would look like. Probably number 10, a future first, something else maybe. And I'm going to have the Jets trade up here because I think the Jets are win now. Aaron Rodgers, probably his last year, maybe one more, but I don't know. Probably Aaron Rodgers last year, coming off a torn Achilles. You got to win now. They sign Mike Williams. They have Garrett Wilson. Why not bring in his former Ohio State teammate, OH, Marvin Harrison Jr.? He's the best player in the draft. He runs exceptional routes. He's faster than you really think he is. He's scary fast. He's always open. He's got the best hands in all of college football. He goes up. He makes all the catches. He's the best player. He is an NFL player in college. He's the best player in all of college football. And that's not even me being a biased Ohio State fan. He's just really that talented. And you bring him in, plug him into that Jets offense, that's going to be a scary passing threat if Aaron Rodgers comes back and is Aaron Rodgers again. So I love that out of the Jets. If they were to trade up, take Marv, they would be a scary offense. Could you imagine that offense going against Miami's offense twice a year? Miami's offense so high-powered. Those would be some good games. All right, so we got the Giants up next, sorry. It's receiver again, and I think it's between Rome and Malik Nabers. It's Malik Nabers for me. He graded super well in all of his tests. He's explosive. He is really, really good with the ball in his hands and make you miss. I think he's wide receiver 1 in pretty much any other draft class. He's just a really, really talented player. He high points the football really well. He has really good hands. He's a good route runner. I think he's the closest to Marvin in this draft class, but I think you're finally getting your wide receiver 1 for the first time since really Odell Beckham Jr. in New York. So I think, this could help Daniel Jones, and if not, a future quarterback. But yeah, I like Malik Nabers as their new wide receiver 1 of the future. Tennessee here. I like offensive line. It's going to be my OT1 in Joe Alt. He's really big. He's so athletic for, the player he is, like how his size and stature. He was really good at Notre Dame, like best tackle in the country, in my opinion. He's super smart. His feet are quick. He's athletic, and what I love about him is really good in both the run game and the pass game. He's a really good pass blocker, but he also tries really hard on run plays. And this Titans team is going to have a weird year next year. Will Levis at quarterback, Tony Pollard in the backfield. I think they're going to want to throw the ball, and why not go get your new starting left tackle, Peter Skoronski. He'll play right tackle, maybe even left guard, something like that. He could play anywhere. Go get your franchise left tackle, Joe Alt. Protect your seemingly franchise quarterback in Will Levis if that's the direction they're going. The Atlanta Falcons are next. I think this is defense all the way. It's Kirk Cousins era. They went and got Kirk Cousins. Their offense is going to be pretty good next year. Kyle Pitts and Drake London, I think, are going to take steps up with Kirk Cousins in the offense. And what did they do? They went and got a new head coach who is defensive-minded. I think this is edge all the way, and I think it's the best defensive player in the draft, Dallas Turner. He's so explosive. He played on the other side of Will Anderson Jr. Last year, in Will Anderson Jr.'s last year in college football. He never gives up on the play. He's super explosive. I'm pretty sure he's got a really good spin move. He's just the best defensive player in the country at Alabama, so obviously that helps. Playing under Nick Saban on the defensive side of the ball. Dallas Turner, my best defensive player in this draft. Bears on the clock at 9. I think it's receiver. The Bears obviously they took Caleb Williams at 1. Why not pair him up with Rome Odunze on the offensive side of the ball? They went out, traded for Keenan Allen. Traded for Keenan Allen. Have DJ Moore. Let's bring in Rome Odunze to maybe play that slot, or even on the outside, DJ Moore could play the slot for your new franchise quarterback. Rome Odunze is so fast. He plays so quick. I don't know what he ran, but on tape, he's super fast. He runs a really good go route. He excels really quick. He gets to that top speed really fast, and he's great with how he moves with his size. He runs good routes. His route tree wasn't very big because he was a lot of the time running deep posts and a lot of go routes, but I think that it's not a skill thing. I just think that that's how they used him in that offense at Washington. But I think he will profile really well in the NFL. A lot of people like him over Malik Nabers, but I prefer Malik Nabers just a little bit. But Rome Odunze is still a really fantastic player, and the Bears will be stoked here to land Rome. So Chargers now on the clock the second time after they traded out with the Jets, where they went up and got Marv at 5. At 10, I think this could be a lot of things. It could be offensive tackle because they do need it. It's going to be offense for sure. I think it's Brock Bowers. I think you don't have a tight end. You don't really have any receivers. Bring in the best offensive player on the board right now. It's Brock Bowers. He is tight end 1 in this draft. He's the best tight end since Kyle Pitts, and I think he's better. He's always open at Georgia. Always open. Runs great routes. He's super deadly with the ball in his hands. You can move him anywhere. Play him on outside receiver, slot tight end. Anywhere you want to put this guy, he will perform. And he also is a great run blocker. Brock Bowers, the complete package. The reason he falls this far, he's a tight end. It's just not as valuable as a position as everything in front of it. But this is still super high drafting of a tight end. I think he's a great player, and I think the Chargers would be stoked to not only get the best tight end in the draft and one of the best offensive players in the draft, and also get draft capital for trading down. I think that would be a great draft for the Chargers. Even though they miss out on Marv, they still get a fantastic player in Brock Bowers. Now I have the Arizona Cardinals up for the first time after their trade back from 4 with the Vikings. This, for me, is Laiatu Latu. They need help everywhere, and why not go get your future star edge rusher? Now, the only problem is that he has very concerning injury history. He had to retire from football after a serious neck injury. Came back, went to UCLA, and just dominated. He's so fast. He's so explosive. He's really twitchy. He was the best pass rusher in college football this year, and that's with Dallas Turner being my defensive player. This guy was awesome. It's just injuries are scary. He's retired once from football again. You're taking him at 11. You have to really be sure he's good to go. because with a background like that, it's definitely scary to take a guy that high who's already retired from football. Now I have the Broncos here. The Broncos are yet again, I think this draft's going to be a little crazy, a trade down team for me. I think, again, the Broncos are going to be bad next year. So they're going to look into the future. They want some draft capital. And there's a team who's going to be good next year, and they need some help on the defensive side of the ball, the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, don't know what the trade will look like. Maybe a future second. I don't know. Maybe even a future first. But I got the Eagles trading up with the Broncos here at 12. And the Eagles are going to go get their future cornerback 1 in Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell, I know he went to Toledo. I don't care. He plays so fast. He has the real potential to be a lockdown NFL corner. He's so much fun to watch. He keeps up with any guy out there. I think he forced like the most completions in college football the last 2 years. The last 2 years. He's just so good. He plays so fast. He's awesome. And even though he went to Toledo, it doesn't matter. Eagles corners are old Darius Slay and James Bradbury. They need a new corner in there. Let's go get him for this year. Quinyon Mitchell going to come into the NFL and be really good right away, I think. Yeah, I would love that for the Eagles. Raiders up at 13. I'm going to have him go Talisa Fuaga here. Talisa Fuaga, run game mauler. He's going to play right tackle. They're good at left tackle. So he's going to play right tackle. Like I said, run game mauler. He can work on his pass game. His hands are a little wonky, but he's so good in the run game. I think they're going to try and run the ball a lot this year. They strayed away from it last year, but they don't really have any passing game this year. They still have Devontae Adams, but Aiden O'Connell, probably not it. So I think they're going to run the ball a lot this year. Talisa Fuaga profile is great for that. You can also move Fuaga to guard if you need to. If you want to take a tackle in the future, maybe pick up a tackle in the future. Fuaga can play guard, but I think he'll come in and be day one starting right tackle. He's real good. Saints on the clock at 14. I think we're going to get a string of tackles here. Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. Now, he did get destroyed by Ohio State's JTT in both of his games he played against him in college. Those are kind of his standout games where he did not look good against JTT, but pretty much all of the other time he looked great. He's quick, he's got great feet, he's smart, very athletic. A lot of these tackles in this draft are. He's got a good first step, and I really like him. I think the Saints would be stoked to get a franchise tackle, throw him at left tackle, and you're good at 14. Colts up at 15. Now, this is one of my favorite players in the draft. It's Cooper DeJean. The Colts famously love taking guys just that are super athletic, and Cooper DeJean is one of those guys. Now, you might think he's a white corner, but he's not your prototypical white corner. This guy plays with so much speed. He's so fast. He's locked down. He's super smart. He never is out of a play. He's very instinctive, and he's a great tackler. I just think that being at Iowa, being a white corner, I think it's just a little bit of a drop for him, but I think Cooper DeJean has CB1 potential in this draft, and I would love that pick for the Colts there. So moving on to 16, we have the Seattle Seahawks, and I think this is Troy Fautanu. Fautanu. I'm not completely sure. Sorry about that. But he's got super strong arms, super strong legs. He's a big guy. Let's see. Yeah, 6'4", 317. Might be a little bit small for the position. But I really like Troy Fautanu out of Washington. I think he's going to come in, be really good to start, and Seahawks need tackle. So I love it. And then at 17, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they need a lot of help at corner. I'm going to go Terrion Arnold here. Terrion Arnold is awesome. He can hang with any receiver out there. He was the best corner at Alabama this year, and that's saying something because Floyd McKinstry might also go in the first round. And Floyd McKinstry was a 5-star prospect. He was awesome his freshman year. He took a little bit of a step back last year. But yeah, Terrion Arnold was awesome. He's super fast, super quick. He's very smart. Uh, he recovers very well. He does have a little bit of a holding PI problem. That's just because he plays very hard. And I think it's something that you can kind of get out of him. He's just grabby. But I think he'll be awesome in the NFL. So, you'd be stoked, I think, if you're a Jags fan and you get Arnold at 17. I think he's a really good player. And another guy who could potentially be CB1. I think there's 4 cornerbacks that could be CB1. I think they're all really close to each other. And I think Terrion Arnold is one of those guys. Next up, we have the Bengals on the clock. You lost DJ Reader, so let's bring in Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy is sick. At Texas, super strong, great first step. He's the best D tackle in the draft. He's your instant DJ Reader replacement. He's going to get to the quarterback at D tackle. He's going to stop the run game at D tackle. I love Byron Murphy. It's just he plays D tackle, so it's a little bit of a fall for him. But I think you could see Byron Murphy go in this 8 to 12 range. I really do. He's that good. Yeah, I think this would be a great pick for the Bengals, unfortunately, as a Browns fan. But let's move on to the Rams, who just lost a Hall of Fame defensive tackle in Aaron Donald. So let's go and get somebody, not to replace Aaron Donald because that's impossible, but let's go get somebody to help out that offense after losing, or help out that defense after losing Aaron Donald and Jared Verse. Jared Verse, I think people kind of forget how good Florida State was this year because they missed the playoff. But they were so good mainly because of how good their defense was. And Jared Verse was the leader of that defense. He's an elite tackler. He gets by guys so easily. Another guy, he's very forceful, and it's another guy I think could go at this 8 to 12 range. I just don't have him there because I think these teams need other needs. But I could see definitely some of these teams jumping on Jared Verse for sure. He's a great player. He's experienced. Like I said, leader of that defense. I think the Rams would be stoked here. Now here, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Crazy offseason. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Who knows what they're doing on day 1 of the NFL season. But I do have them trading down here because I think the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, where are they? Kansas City Chiefs. Will be trading up here. I don't know exactly what the trade will look like, but the Kansas City Chiefs offense was not exactly the best in the NFL like we're used to last year. They were still great, but no receivers. They went out, they got Hollywood Brown, and I think here they're going to trade up and take Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is so good. He's got blazing speed. He's super tall. I think he's 6'4", and he's so fast. He's really, 6'4", 205, and he's really fast. He's a separator, and he also blocks pretty well. But yeah, he's definitely a separator. I think he at times has problems high pointing the football, but he does have good hands. He's just not great jump ball receiver, so I think that's something he can become in the NFL. But alongside Hollywood Brown, that offense is going to have a lot of speed behind it once again in Kansas City. Moving on to the Miami Dolphins, we're going to have Johnny Jerzon Newton. Dolphins lost their best D tackle in Christian Wilkins, and I think they're going to try and replace him right away with Johnny Newton. Johnny Newton, I think, was higher profiled at the beginning of kind of this draft process. I think his stock has fell a lot. But he does have a high motor. He's a 3-down guy. So is Byron Murphy from before. But yeah, he's got a great first step. He's super strong, super fast. I just think that playing at Illinois, he just didn't have exactly the season everybody thought he would. His stock falls a little bit, but still a fantastic player. Okay, we have the Broncos here on the clock. I think it is quarterback. They have no one. I think Jarrett Stidham is their current quarterback right now. It's Bo Nix for me. I don't love Bo Nix, but I do think he'll sneak into the first round to Denver here. He's got a big arm. I mean, he really does. He's just very old. And he played in really the perfect offense for him last year at Oregon. And I'm just worried that getting into a new offense, learning new plays and stuff like that, he might struggle quite a bit. But we'll see. I think he is a really good quarterback, and he could definitely be a good NFL quarterback. I don't know if he's the future for the Broncos, but maybe he could prove me wrong and will be. I just think that they will go quarterback in this first round, and Bo Nix is the best one on the board. 23, Arizona with their second pick of the draft. Their first pick, they went ahead and took Laiatu Latu, great defensive player. This time, they're going to stay on defense, take what I think could be another guy who could be CB1 in this draft, Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins, so good at Clemson. He could be, like I said, the best corner in this draft. He's great in both zone and man coverage, with some of these guys ahead of him aren't really great zone coverage guys. Like, for example, Quinion Mitchell's mainly a man guy. Same thing with Terrion Arnold. But Nate Wiggins can do them both. I don't know if he could play safety, maybe back him up, play safety, because he really can play that coverage safety guy. The only problem is he's not good in the run games. That's why you maybe don't move him to safety. He just doesn't tackle super well. He gets ran over a lot. But super lockdown, could be the best corner in this draft, potentially. All right, at 24, the Cowboys lost Tyron Smith. Let's go out. And I know Tyler Smith is still on the team, but he's so good at guard. Why move him out of that left guard spot when he's like the best one in the NFL? So let's go pick up J.C. Latham, left tackle from Alabama. He's also super big, 6'6", 335. He's just raw, but he's super gifted. I mean, he went to Alabama and killed it his freshman year. He's really raw, and I think he's going to take some time to, be a good tackle in the NFL. But I think he definitely has that potential. He's super gifted. He does get penalized quite a bit. So that's something he would want to cut out, but I do think he's a very good player. I think the Cowboys would be happy with him at 24. We have the Packers at 25. It's going to be another tackle for me. It's going to be Amarius Mims. This guy's a freak. He's so big, 6'7", 340. Kind of reminds you of DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State last year. Not quite as heavy, but super tall. Yeah, this guy, while not as good as Broderick Jones, played on the other side of him. He's going to be really good. He's left tackle. Very big, very strong. Also pretty raw. His feet need work. He's so big that his feet don't really move too fast. So he's going to need some help, kind of figuring out how to get quicker on his feet. But, I mean, if they can unlock his potential, very much like DeJuan Jones and how the Browns have unlocked his, this guy could be a top tackle in the league. I really think so. He's just got the size and the athleticism to do so. He's just got to unlock that potential. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers here at 26. I think it's defense. I think their offense was not too bad last year. I think they got to go defense here. That defense is pretty old, so let's go ahead and take Chop Robinson. Now, Chop Robinson is another raw prospect, but he's super twitchy, super fast, twitchy in a good way. Super fast. His first step is so fast. He just is hungry to get after the quarterback. He can also drop back a little bit in coverage. Kind of played that Micah Parsons role at Penn State last year. But yeah, obviously he's not Micah Parsons, but super quick, super twitchy. I would love this pick for Tampa Bay. 27 here, Arizona Cardinals with the third pick of the draft. They went Laiatu Latu and Nate Wiggins here. We're going to now switch to the offensive side of the ball. You didn't get Marv at 4. Let's go ahead and get Adonai Mitchell. AD Mitchell at 27. AD Mitchell is great. Started at Oklahoma, got hurt in that game against Ohio State in the to go to the national championship, and then transferred to Texas. Was Quinn Ewers' favorite receiver all year. He runs really, really, really good routes. Probably one of the top route runners in the draft. He's got good hands. He just needs to high point the football a little bit better, much like Brian Thomas Jr. He's just not exactly a jump ball receiver, but he can be a red zone threat. I like AD Mitchell a lot. I think the Cardinals would be happy with AD Mitchell coming out of that draft to be their potential wide receiver 1. Buffalo Bills on the clock now. I think it's also receiver. They lost Stephon Diggs, obviously, and Gabe Davis. Wide receiver 1 is Khalil Shakir, maybe. Yeah, that's not good enough. So they're going to go ahead and take Troy Franklin. Dude, Troy Franklin is sick. He's so fast, 6'3", 187. He's a blazer. He is so good running that go route, getting the top off the defense. That's his specialty. He'd be a great future wide receiver too, and I know he would have to come in and be kind of the main guy in Buffalo, but if they were to go out and maybe get another guy for Josh Allen, this guy could be so deadly as a second option in that offense. Josh Allen throws that deep ball so well, and Troy Franklin could just get over the top of the defense, has size, has speed. I think that would work out really well in Buffalo, so I would like Troy Franklin a lot for the Bills. Lions on the clock here. Draft is into Detroit, so this is their first pick at home in the draft. And it's going to be corner for me. They lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They were really good last year, but I think they're going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry here. Like I said earlier, had a little bit of a down year. Still a great player. He's talented. He's super smart. He's great in one-on-one. He's a former 5-star. He just kind of had a down year, which kind of plummeted his stock. But I think he's going to come into the NFL and be pretty good to start out with. I really do think he could also be one of those guys that can compete, maybe not CB1, but CB2 type range in this draft. The corners at the top of this draft are really good. There's some good ones down, like Mike Sainstrill out of Michigan's a good player, but there's some other good corners in this draft. But I really do like the guys. Ennis Rakestraw, really great player out of Missouri. But I like Kool-Aid McKinstry here for the Lions. At 30, the Ravens, they're going to run the ball a lot this year. Lamar, Derrick Henry, they're going to be good. Let's go get a big tackle in Tyler Guyton. Again, another raw tackle, 6'7", 327. Pretty sure he played left tackle, maybe he played right at Oklahoma, but just super athletic. He started his career at defensive end, which is crazy to move to tackle from defensive end, but he has improved his technique each and every year in college, so I think that he's just going to continue to get better. Like I said, raw, but could definitely help out in that run game that's going to be so strong in Baltimore for years to come. All right, second to last pick in the first round, got the San Francisco 49ers. I think this is JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, when you think center, you don't really think fun to watch. Maybe Jason Kelce, but Jackson Powers Johnson is so much fun to watch. He mauls in the run game. Don't let this dude get into the second level or he will run you over. He just mauls guys. Now, I think he's one of the best linemen in this draft. It's just falls to 31 as a center because he plays center. But he's a demon in the run game. And when he gets to the second level, it's over for you. And then if he gets past the second level, it's especially over for you. Love JPJ. I just think he falls because he's a center. And the final pick of the draft is held by Pittsburgh after that Kansas City trade. I think this is wide receiver through and through. I think Ladd McConkey could be the pick here. I like Jalen Polk. Not this high, though. Same thing with Xavier Legette. Roman Wilson, I'm not super high on. I like Keon Coleman here. Keon Coleman, really tall, talented jump ball receiver. Started at Michigan State, went to Florida State, was great last year. And I think the quarterback got injured, so it's like, I think that definitely had him take a hit because you just weren't hearing about him very much towards the end of the season. But I think he's going to be a legit red zone threat. Put him on the other side of George Pickens. Justin Fields running that offense. I think that team could be kind of scary in the run game. It could be a sneaky duo in Pickens and Keon Coleman. I think that would be really good for Pittsburgh. So that is my entire first round mock draft. Let me know what you think. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you like this kind of stuff. I'll keep uploading. I really had fun with it, and I've got some other good ideas. Want to do a video where I grade everybody's off season and their pickups and moves and trades. I think that would be fun. I got a couple of other ideas too, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. But thank you so much for watching.